is not what it seems. You must find the truth. Go north, across the enchanted lands, and into the unknown. But be careful. We have always feared Elsa's powers were too much for this world. Now we must hope. They are enough.
I won't let anything happen to her.
In the eternal twilight of the North Mountain, Elsa was restless. It was a peculiar, gnawing feeling, a vibration in her veins that the eternal winter of her ice palace could not soothe. Arendelle was peaceful, prosperous, and warm. Anna was a whirlwind of happiness, organizing summer festivals and cheese tastings with relentless optimism. Kristoff was practicing his proposal speech daily to a chorus of unimpressed reindeer. Olaf, now permafrosted and delightfully existential, was documenting the mysteries of life in a series of enthusiastic lectures, yet Elsa felt like a perfectly tuned instrument waiting for a song only it could hear. It began with a whisper, a distant, wordless melody that wound its way into her dreams. It was a voice, ancient and melodic, calling her from a place she'd never been. It sang of a memory buried deep, a memory not her own. She would wake with frost flowers blooming on her canopy bed, the air humming with a power that felt both familiar and foreign. The call grew stronger. One evening, as she stood on the balcony overlooking the placid fjord, she absent-mindedly hummed the tune. In response, the very elements stirred. The wind picked up, carrying autumn leaves that swirled into playful sprites. Flames in the hearth danced into salamander shapes. Earth rumbled gently, and the waters of the fjord shifted, forming crystalline patterns. The four elemental spirits were whispering back. "Do you hear it too?" Anna asked, joining her, sensing her sister's disquiet not through magic, but through the unerring bond they shared. Before Elsa could answer, the call became a command. From the north, beyond the dark sea, a violet tanager mist erupted, piercing the sky. It was beautiful and terrifying. As it spread, it threw Arendelle into chaos. The wind spirit, a rowdy, invisible force, tore through the village, uprooting market stalls. The fire spirit, revealed as a skittish blue salamander, scorched its way through the forest. The earth giants, ancient beings of living rock, stirred in the mountains, and the water spirit, a horse of living, cresting wave, churned the fjord into a frenzy. The people of Arendelle fled to the castle. Grand Pabby and the rock trolls arrived, their faces grim, the enchanted forest Pabby intoned, his gravelly voice heavy with foreboding. "A mist has shrouded it since the days of your grandfather, King Root." It was a place of alliance between Arendelle and the Northeldra people. But a conflict arose, the spirits turned against humans, and the mist descended, trapping all inside. Now, the spirits are angry. They are out of balance. Arendelle is not safe. Elsa knew, with a certainty that froze her blood, that she was the cause. Her power had awakened them, and she was the only one who could set things right. The voice was calling her to the enchanted forest. She had to go. Anna, of course, would not hear of her going alone. "We do this together," she declared, her jaw set in that stubborn, loving line. Kristoff, Sven, and Olaf completed their party. With a heavy heart, knowing she was leading her loved ones into peril, Elsa used her power to create a ship of ice, and they set sail for the mist-shrouded coast. The enchanted forest was a prison of breathtaking beauty. The mist was a physical wall, but at Elsa's touch, it parted like a curtain, allowing them entry before closing seamlessly behind them. They were trapped. The air was thick with magic and memory. Autumn leaves, frozen in mid-fall, hung suspended in the air. The forest was a monument to a single moment. 5 decades passed. Their arrival did not go unnoticed. They were swiftly surrounded by Northeldra, a nomadic people living in harmony with the forest, and a contingent of Arendellian soldiers. Both groups locked in a wary, permanent standoff since the day of the battle. The tension was palpable, a generational hatred fueled by incomplete stories. Before hostilities could erupt, the wind spirit, which Olaf cheerfully named Gale, swept through, separating Elsa from the others. Elsa found herself alone, following the call deeper into the woods. She discovered the water spirit, the Knock, a magnificent horse of churning water. Guarding the dark sea, it attacked. Seeing her as an intruder, their struggle was a ballet of ice and wave, until Elsa managed to tame the Knock, not by force, but by understanding, creating a bridle of ice and earning its trust as the legendary fifth spirit. Meanwhile, Anna, Olaf, Kristoff, and Sven were taken in by the North. Anna met Yelena, their stern leader, and a young, wary Northeldra soldier named Honey Marin, who spoke of a fifth spirit, a bridge between magic and humanity, foretold in their legends. Anna's heart ached, knowing this was Elsa's destiny, and fearing what it would cost. Olaf, in his innocent wisdom, became the unlikely historian. With the help of a series of cryptic stone tablets, he pieced together the story of the past. He narrated it to Anna and the trapped soldiers. King Runerd had journeyed to the forest to build a dam as a gift of peace to the north, but the spirits, gifts from nature, were angered by the act. A fight broke out at the dam's unveiling, and the mist fell, but something in the story felt incomplete to Anna. Olaf's tale had holes, just like the official history of Aaron. The truth, she sensed, was hidden in the gaps. Elsa, riding the Knock across the dark sea, pushed further north, the call now a desperate pull. She reached the shores of Adohalen, the mythical river told of in their mother's lullaby, said to hold all the memories of the past. It was a glacier of living memory, a cathedral of ice that sang with a million voices. Inside Adohalen, Elsa walked through frozen tableaus of history. She saw her mother, Queen Iduna, as a young Northeldra girl. She saw her father, Prince Agner, as a boy, fleeing the forest in terror. And she saw the truth. King Runerd's dam was not a gift. It was a trick. He feared the Northeldra's connection to magic and sought to weaken them by cutting off their access to the enchanted forest's resources. When the Northeldra leader questioned him, Runerd attacked him, starting the battle not in self-defense, but out of fear and prejudice. The spirits, enraged by this betrayal and the harm to the land, unleashed their power. In the chaos, Iduna and Northeldra saved the life of the wounded Arendelian prince, Agner. She used the mist to help them both escape, a secret act of mercy that would eventually lead to their marriage and the birth of their daughters. Elsa's magic was a gift from the spirits, passed down through her mother's Northeldra bloodline. She was both Arendelian and North. She was the bridge, the fifth spirit. But Adohalen demanded truth in its entirety. To see the full memory, Elsa had to go deeper, into the dangerous, frozen heart of the glacier. Her mother's voice warned her, "Go too far and you will drown." But Elsa, driven by the need to know, to fix the mistakes of the past, pressed on. She witnessed the final tragic moment of betrayal, the origin of the curse. And as the memory showed Runerd's act, a freezing wave of truth, literal and metaphorical, engulfed her. She sent the memory, in the form of a frozen snowflake, to Anna, before she herself was frozen solid, a beautiful, tragic statue in the heart of the river. Chapter 4. The next right thing in the forest. Anna saw the snowflake memory unfold. She learned the devastating truth. Their grandfather was a monster. The dam was a lie. The conflict was based on a crime, and Olaf, feeling his existence tied to Elsa's magic, faded into a pile of snow and sticks in Anna's arms. Anna was utterly shattered. She had lost both her sister and her best friend. The weight of grief was a physical pressure, threatening to crush her. In the pitch-black darkness of a cave, with only the company of a despondent Kristoff, who had finally found her after his own comedic misadventures with a failed proposal, Anna hit rock bottom. She sat on the floor, empty, the cheerful, optimistic girl gone. But Anna's strength was not in magic. It was in love and in doing what was right. In a raw, aching whisper, she began to sing to herself, a mantra of survival. Just do the next right thing. She sang, one breath, one step, one action at a time. She could not feel hope, but she could choose action. The next right thing was clear. The dam, the symbol of the lie, had to be destroyed. It was the source of the imbalance. To appease the spirits and free the forest, the dam must fall. But the earth giants, awakened and furious, guarded the dam. Anna had no ice powers, no superhuman strength. All she had was her courage and a plan. With a determined fire in her eyes, she set out to bait the giants. She stood on the cliffs above the dam, a tiny, red-headed figure shouting at the monolithic beings. She led them on a desperate chase, dodging their massive fists, directing their rage not at the forest, but at the stone walls of the dam itself. It was a terrifying suicidal ballet. With a final thunderous roar from the giants, the dam was shattered. A wall of water, freed after decades, rushed down the riverbed, straight toward Arendelle. In Atoahelen, the destruction of the dam broke the curse. The wave of memory that had frozen Elsa receded, thawing, gasping. She was reborn, not just as Elsa, but as her full self. The fifth spirit, she was clothed in a radiant, diamond-like dress, her power no longer a secret to be feared, but a gift to be wielded with purpose.
She felt the colossal wave heading for her kingdom. Leaping from the glacier, she summoned the Knock. Together, they raced across the dark sea, faster than the wind. She reached the fjord just as the towering wave crested, ready to obliterate the castle and the town. With a mighty cry, channeling all her power, Elsa raised her arms. A colossal wall of ice, taller than the mountains, erupted from the sea, meeting the wave in a crash of spray and light. She held it, she shaped it, she tamed it, guiding the water harmlessly around Arendelle and safely into the fjord. The kingdom was saved. In the forest, the mist dissolved. Sunlight, real and warm, touched the ground for the first time in 50 years. The elemental spirits calmed. The fire salamander curled peacefully on a rock. Gale played gently with the leaves. The earth giants settled, becoming part of the landscape once more. And Olaf, in a puff of snowflakes, reassembled himself, his memory intact and his philosophy enriched. The Northuldra and the Arendellian soldiers, seeing the spirits pacified and the truth revealed, let their weapons fall. The long feud was over. Anna found Elsa, and their reunion was tearful, joyful, and wordless. They simply held each other, two parts of a whole that had been tested to its limit and found unbreakable. Months later, a new balance had been struck. In the great hall of Arendelle's castle, Anna was crowned queen. Elsa, in her glistening fifth spirit attire, placed the crown on her sister's head. It was the perfect solution. Anna, with her boundless heart, her courage, and her innate understanding of people, was the leader Arendelle needed. Elsa's place was here, but also there, in the enchanted forest, as the guardian of the spirits and the bridge between worlds. Kristoff, finally having delivered a heartfelt, simple proposal. My love is not a fragile thing, it's permanent, well, not like my hair, but, stood proudly by Anna's side as prince consort. Sven received all the carrots he could ever want. Elsa visited often, her arrival heralded by the Knock riding up the fjord, but her true home was in the forest with the Northuldra, where she could be free, where her magic was not an anomaly but a birthright. She had found where she truly belonged. On one of her visits, she and Anna rode to the cliff overlooking the revitalized valley. The dam was gone, the river flowed freely, and the forest teemed with life. The past was not forgotten, but its wounds were healed. You found your peace, Anna said, leaning her head on her sister's shoulder. We both did, Elsa replied, squeezing her hand. We are never closing the gates again, not to the forest, not to the past, not to each other. Elsa then whistled, and from the sky, Gale swooped down, playfully tousling their hair. From the woods, Bruni the salamander skittered up to sit on Anna's offered palm. The Knock stood proudly in the water below. The spirits were with them, part of their family. Anna looked at her sister, the Snow Queen, the fifth spirit, her best friend. I like this new ending, she smiled. In the distance, Olaf, philosophizing to a group of enchanted, listening rocks, summed it up for everyone. The thing about the future, he declared, is that it isn't just something that happens to you, it's something you find. You have to go into the unknown to find it. He paused, then added with a grin, and it's much more fun if you bring your sister. And so, the two queens, one of Arendelle and one of the enchanted forest, stood together, guardians of a new world where truth had thought a frozen past, and love had built a future brighter than any magic. The story was no longer just about controlling power, but about understanding where you come from, so you can find where you are meant to be.